What's going on, everyone? It's Rich Haywood here from Bacon Ice Cream Productions and Team RTFC, welcoming you to yet another episode of Good Times with Retro Rich. So today, we're going to be talking a little bit about signal boosting, what I feel about it, and then my request for you guys that are watching this video to kind of join me in this particular version of signal boosting. But first, I want to talk about, well, the lack of Good Times with Retro Rich. Sorry about that. It's been a pretty wild couple days / week. It's been all sorts of crazy stuff at work and at the home, and got the car in the shop. But I won't bore you with the details of that. Just to say, it's good to be sitting here in the chair, able to share some good times with you. And I do appreciate everyone that's coming on back and checking this out. So let's move straight along to the business. So I was on, as I frequent pretty regularly, the site Kickstarter. Now, Kickstarter is a fundraising platform site where a whole bunch of people bring their ideas for wares or almost finished wares, and sometimes even actually finished products that they just couldn't bring to market. And they go, hey, got this cool idea. You want to come in, check it out. If you like it, throw us a couple bones. We'll get you whatever it is. And then sometimes, you get extras and like that kind of stuff. So notably, I check all the time for stuff related to SRG Super Show, the card game that I play with Eric on Team RTFC vids. They do Kickstarter stuff all the time where some of their newest product, they sometimes make a bundle and they put it out on Kickstarter to get funding to do the printing. They're a pretty small outfit as far as how they produce the game, and I think it's really cool. It's kind of like it's a way of helping the indies out and getting some really awesome products to market. And it's cool because you kind of feel a part of it when you put in the money. You're actually literally helping the production of the product. And some of the equipment that I'm actually using right now has been acquired through Kickstarter. For example, the mic I use, the gimbal that is holding my phone right now, all Kickstarter products that I've successfully backed and then received and used quite a lot. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I found this little project on Kickstarter, and it was called Into the Eternal. I was like, okay, well, it looks kind of cool. Like one of those, kind of classic, possibly 2.5D adventure side-scrolly. Okay, cool. That's there are a lot of those on Kickstarter, and not meaning to dissuade or say anything disparaging at all, but they do tend to have a lot of those types of games that hit Kickstarter to various degrees of success. Sometimes it's like funded in 5 seconds. Sometimes it takes a little longer. Sometimes, unfortunately, they don't get funded at all. Well, this project I actually recognized from a previous browse. And I was like, wow, that's a really long Kickstarter. I've actually found out that the Kickstarter itself didn't actually go forward, and it didn't actually get like finished or certified or fully funded that first time. So they were actually going for round 2. I was like, you know what? I always give people credit, like, hey, if that old adage, right? If you don't succeed, try again, right? I mean, this guy had a Kickstarter, or the representative from the studio, if it is a one-man studio or not. I think I did a little research, and it might actually be like one person doing this stuff. Kind of like puts himself out there, gets knocked down a little bit, doesn't just quite misses the mark, but has a lot of passion, goes right back, does a little work, comes back a couple months later, puts out the Kickstarter again. I'm like, you know what? I really that's really cool. It's really cool. And I appreciate people that kind of like really put in the effort. Well, why am I interested in this? Why am I talking about this? Well, Into the Eternal is kind of a love letter, or possibly even a spiritual successor to Zelda II, The Adventure of Link. That definitely piques the interest of Retro Rich for sure. It's one of my, not necessarily favorite games, Adventure of Link, but I really I really did enjoy that one, and I am a huge Zelda fan. The very first Legend of Zelda game, amazingly awesome in my opinion. I think it's actually one of the best Zelda games ever, even above A Link to the Past. And I know a lot of you would be like, come on, like, you know, like Link to the Past is like it for that kind of style. And yes, it is an awesome game, but there's something about that original one. It just hooked me when I was younger. And I think it was because I didn't actually have an NES growing up. So I had to like consistently rent it from different places while I was babysitting my cousin, or, you know, going over a friend's house and borrowing, you know, his TV and his controller so I could play it, and, you know, that kind of stuff. It was always the quest because, you know, it was the cool cartridge, and, you know, there was the map and all this other stuff. And, you know, it just was really cool. And I missed the whole arc of 16-bit generation huge play because I didn't have a Genesis or a Super Nintendo in my house until much later. So, you know, I didn't kind of have that feel of Link to the Past hit on the public. But anyway, getting back to this, it seems like it's a really cool and really well thought out game that actually has some pretty awesome depth. So I know that I've probably had some footage rolling in the background here, but I'm going to put on these cans here real quick, and let's just take a look at the Kickstarter trailer, and I'm going to go over some of the cool things that I see. So I'm going to put these on real quick, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit play. So, of course, you know, you see like this right away, you see this like, you know, kind of like classic side-scrolly, very, very in tune with the original Zelda II kind of style, you know, where he runs out, and then you get the open world, and you see him running into enemies, and then it goes back to side-scrolling, just like in Zelda II. You know, the game itself, the graphics look really cool. The artwork looks pretty on point. You know, you've got a lot of cool like 2.5D 3D effects going on in the background. You know, you've got what looks like a pretty wide open 2.5D map going on. Very, very similar, of course, to Zelda 2. Some of these backgrounds and like the lighting effects are like pretty gorgeous. And, you know, like I said, I did a little research on these guys, and it's looking like it's, you know, just one guy, you know, putting in tons and tons of work trying to make this game. And, you know, it's hitting all of the nostalgia feels, you know, right here in the retro rich heart here. You know, it's hitting me so much. I'm going to move on to the first 5 minutes video here, and play that one along with everybody too. It just looks like really, really cool. It's really sharp, and something that I totally want to jump in. Now, spoiler alert, I totally did already jump in to this title on the Kickstarter. So I am officially a backer of the game. So I cannot wait to go ahead and get my copy. And the cool thing about the Kickstarter is there's actually some like pretty neat, you know, add-on stuff. If I go as we're watching this trailer, I go over to the Kickstarter. I can actually see the actual options. Let me see if I can get some of this stuff out of my way here. So, of course, they have like, you know, the normal like tip stuff here. $5 gets you a contributor. $25 is a digital copy of the game and early access. So, you know, you can like kind of beta and like test it with him as he develops it, which is always kind of cool. And if he asks for feedback, like that's really cool too. $50 gets you what they call the collector's edition, which is a hard copy of the game that comes with a soundtrack CD as well. A print. Oh, actually, it's not a hard copy of the actual game. It's still a digital code, so it's going to be a download title for all the systems that it's coming out on. And it looks like it's all current and next gen. So PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X, and Switch, and even Steam. So, this one will come with a soundtrack in a case with a card that has a code on it, the collector's edition. Well, then of course, you can get like the bigger ones, producer credits. I'm sure it's at the end of the credit roll, and you get to kind of like give input about like NPC names or town names or like that kind of stuff, which is kind of cool to like be involved in actually creating the game. If you're willing to pluck down, it's $100 for that part of the tier, and then there's the $300 tier is the big one, and that's a virtual publisher. So when you see like just like publishing a game, right? You see the name of the developer first, and then then it's like all your publishers and all of that other like whoever the partner is, they're all going to be on the one screen right at the beginning. So every time somebody pops in the game, if you're a company that wants to sponsor this, for example, you're going to see their name like right there, which is it's pretty rad if you're into that thing. But anyway, I mean, it really looks kind of cool. Like the project itself, he's got a lot of detail in here. He talks about like the story. He's got characters written. He's got, of course, the inspiration of Zelda II. He mentions it directly inside of this Kickstarter project, so it's something that he really likes. He is kind of like writing a love letter to the game, which is kind of cool. He gives an example on the Kickstarter page of the like first dungeon map, and like tells you about how some of these dungeons are going to be like super huge. He also says like right in there, some of the dungeons might actually encompass up to 500 rooms. So that's pretty enormous. It's like I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what to compare it to as far as like comparing the regular Legend of Zelda or even Zelda 2's dungeons itself. Like I don't think anything even got close to 500 rooms. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Like like endless hours of gameplay there. And of course mini bosses, treasures, traps, puzzles. And then boss fight at the end of each dungeon, of course, which is pretty cool. He's boasting like hundreds of hours of gameplay and that kind of stuff, and for the price of the game itself at that $25 price point, we're talking, this is it's going to be a downloadable title, but at $25, I mean, if you're getting hundreds of hours of gameplay in a game that is like I said, hitting me right in that feel, like that classic action adventure RPG, love letter to Zelda kind of thing. Like, I mean, come on, give me more. So, that being said, it looks like it's got all sorts of other really cool stuff in here. You've got, all sorts of cool stuff. It looks like it's got a cool skill tree going on. It looks like you can like do all sorts of other cool things, like, going ahead and looking at doing like hunting and farming and fishing and stuff. So like the little side quest actions going on here too. I mean, what more could you guys want if you're looking for like a cool action RPG and an indie one at that? So as we're wrapping this up here, I want to encourage you guys, go on below, check in the description. I'm going to have a link to the Kickstarter project itself, as well as the 2 videos that you saw up on here. So if you guys want to go in and show the development team some love, go ahead and go over to their YouTube channel, hit them a like, throw some stuff in the comments. Give him a sub if you want to. Just like looks like he literally just upstarted this channel just for the Kickstarter itself. It's a really small footprint. So this is the signal boost time, right? Let's get in there and you know, and boost the signal of this game. You know, he is, as of the recording of this video here, he is already fully funded. So this thing is looking like it's going to happen. So, you know, if you guys are interested in that kind of game, hop in there, toss some bucks down, and you know, then get in the comments of this video too and tell me like, hey, you know, this game looks awesome, or, you know, like maybe not for me. I mean, whatever you guys want to do. But I just really think that it's a really cool thing, and I think it's important to shine light on things that you like find when you're like just stumbling around the internet. So, well, with all that, you know, coming to a close, I want to thank you guys all again for coming in and checking this vid out. Of course, you know, leave me a like. Drop down in the comments, see how you feel about this kind of content. You know, do you guys want me to, like, you know, show you some cool stuff that I find, like, you know, teaming around the internet? Let me know, and I'll give you guys some updates as the Kickstarter comes to a close. It's about 12 days to go, so maybe when it wraps up, I'll give you guys another thing to say, like, hey, maybe it got signal boosted and things are really happening, or maybe we really need to, you know, like maybe that's, you know, it is going to be what it's going to be and it's going to stay where it is. But at least I'll tell you guys, like, hey, I mean, I already backed it, so I'll still be covering the game, and, you know, maybe I could get some signal boost on the back end, get you guys, you know, playing with me or interested when it hits the stores on the PC, the Xbox, or the PlayStation, or the Switch. So thanks again so much for watching this vid. And until next time, we will catch you next time for some good times. I'm Rich. This down here is Pippin, because, I don't know, he just wanted to hang out with me, I guess, today. And we'll catch you next time. See you later, guys.
TeamRTFC.BaconIceCream.com